Hello there. Welcome to my thought for the day. Today I'm focusing on the scriptures. Well, I suppose every day I focus on the scriptures. And the reason I do that is because they are the most incredible collection of works that have ever been put together. They're greater than Shakespeare, greater than the works of Byron or Wordsworth, or greater than the greatest writings, greater than Tolkien or C.S. Lewis. Why? And they were written mostly by people who were not writers. They were not great writers, great poets, great articulators of words. What is it about this book that makes it so special? It has 66 different books, many of them written by different writers. But as Timothy, as written in the book of 2 Timothy, Paul writing to Timothy, says in 2 Timothy 3:16, all scripture is inspired by God and profitable for teaching, for reproof, for correction, for training in righteousness, that the man of God may be complete, equipped for every good work. Now don't get caught up on the use of the word man there. We could say the person of God, the follower of Jesus, let's say it that way. It's not gender specific. It's simply Paul writing to a young man and using that term. All scripture is inspired by God. That word inspired is a translation of a Greek word which literally means God breathed. This is why the scriptures are held in such high honour, because God has, in some incredibly miraculous way, been able to inspire people down through the ages to write down his words. And these have been preserved over the centuries, sometimes at great personal cost, by believers, and kept by God through those believers for us, so that we have the scriptures. There have been many attempts over the centuries to destroy the Bible, to destroy the manuscripts, to destroy the people who translated the Bible or printed it. But it's been kept for us. Why? Because it is powerful. It is the most powerful book. The words in this book are of infinite worth. All scripture is breathed by God and profitable for teaching, for reproof, for correction, and for training in righteousness. There's everything contained within this book that we need to be able to live in this world for Jesus. It's the guideline. I've often described it as, those of you who know me well, who've listened to me a lot, the closest we can get to this really, in one way, although nobody sits and reads these, is the manual you get when you get a new car, new vehicle. It tells you everything about the vehicle, even things you don't really need to know about the vehicle. But it tells you everything about the vehicle. It tells you what to do if things go wrong. It tells you how to maintain the vehicle in the best condition, so that it does the best job, and it works well, and it doesn't go wrong, and it's reliable. The manual. This is God's manual for mankind, for humankind. And it's got in it, the wonderful thing is, we are very strange creatures, human beings. When we have children, or we interact with children, we try and teach them. We try and help them not have to experience all the terrible things that go on in a person's life. But despite our best efforts, almost every child go through that stage where they think, no, I'm not going to do things the way my parents said I should do it. I don't believe them when they say this is dangerous or that is dangerous, or we shouldn't do this or we shouldn't do that, or we should get 8 hours of sleep at night and we should drink a certain amount of liquid. I'm not listening to any of that. I'm going to do it my own way. And they do it their own way and they fall flat on their face. And sooner or later they realise that if they'd only learned from their parents' experiences, they wouldn't have gone through nearly half as much as they had to go through. Somehow there is in every human being the need to experience for themselves the pitfalls of this life before they learn to do better. We see it all the time in our society, don't we? You'd think with all the wars that we've had in our lifetime that people would know how to avoid war, but they don't. They still do make the same mistakes, do the same. We say we should learn from these wars not to ever do it again. And do we learn from it? No. But the scripture is written, and in the scripture there are the life stories, told quite frankly and openly, of terrible mistakes, of great things as well, but terrible mistakes, so that all of us, we don't have to do some of the things that are done by characters in the Bible ourselves to know that disaster follows. We see what they did. We see the terrible things it led to, and we learn from it. We can learn from the mistakes of others in Scripture and learn not to make those mistakes ourselves. The Scripture is a guidebook. It's an encouragement, but it is a powerful book. The words of Scripture release life in us. They are like seeds. Remember the parable of the sower. The Scripture is like seeds. We plant the seeds, we will get the fruit of it. If we plant forgiveness, we'll get forgiveness. If we plant generosity, we will get generosity. If we plant love, we will get love in return. If we plant a verse about a need we have in our lives, and we believe that verse, and we cling on to it in faith, the solution to our difficulty will come. This is the most powerful book that was ever written. Why? Because it is inspired by God. It is God-breathed. So really, we shouldn't ever quote a vague representation of a verse. We should quote the verse, because it is the Scripture that has the power in it. My time is up. That's 2 Timothy 3:16. Have a great day. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.